In the previous section, we already got continuous integration set up, so we are now easily integrating all of the new versions that we upload to GitHub from our local repository into App Center. And we've even seen how checks that come directly from App Center can be integrated into GitHub. Throughout this section, we're going to use yet another feature of App Center, and that is tests. And we're going to be implementing then continuous quality. We're going to be able to run our tests on real devices that exist in the cloud. So how is it that we will be able to do that? First and foremost, we are of course going to learn how to create our tests. Now keep in mind that this course is not about tests. I don't want to focus too much on the creation of the tests as much as I would like to focus on how these tests can be uploaded to App Center and performed over there. However, of course, we're going to learn how is it that you can create your tests on your project. And no matter what platform you may be using, there is going to be an option available for you to create those tests. We have, for example, Espresso, XCUI tests, Appium, and Xamarin UI tests. All of these are supported by App Center. So it really won't matter what platform you're using, all of those supported by App Center will be able to upload tests for them to run in the cloud. Now it means that throughout the first few lectures in this section, we're going to be creating those tests. We're going to have to prepare our own projects, create files here and there, essentially creating those tests for us to eventually upload to App Center. So that is a good part of this section. So to upload to App Center, we will have to do a couple of things. First, we're going to be installing the App Center command line interface. It is going to be through this command line interface that we will be able to upload to App Center all of those tests that we are going to create. Of course, the CLI is not exclusively for tests. We could do pretty much anything that we can do on App Center through the CLI, but throughout this section, that is exactly what we're going to be using it for, to upload all of our tests. And uploading these tests means nothing more that we will be uploading the package for our application over to App Center along with the tests that have to be performed, those that we create. So App Center is going to be using the exact same thing that we would use locally on a simulator or a local device that we may have, but in the cloud. So it's just about uploading those files that it needs. Eventually, and the reason why App Center is so powerful is because any device becomes available. And by any device, I mean thousands and thousands of devices with tens and even hundreds of configurations. And it is all pretty much automated. Imagine having to test yourself locally, even if in some scenario you have tens or hundreds of physical devices. Imagine having to test on all of them, having to install the application on each and every one of them, and make the tests, and make sure that they perform correctly, and track the issues. That would be a nightmare. And it would just take you so long. With App Center, however, you have thousands of devices available, which I honestly don't think any developer has that many devices available. And it will run the application on all of them. These are physical devices hosted on the cloud, but that exist in the physical world. These are not simulators, these are physical devices. And so the results that you get are pretty much the results that your users would get on those devices. And you can of course test on many different operating systems as well. Versions of iOS and Android, I mean. And this is going to just take a few minutes. Of course, it is going to depend greatly on the amount of devices that you need to test on and the amount of tests that you need to perform. But essentially, App Center is going to prepare all of the devices that you want in the cloud, run your application on each of them, and report back to you. It is going to report if a certain test failed on one of these devices, and it's going to give you the logs so you know exactly what happened. This is the power of App Center right here. This way you ensure even further that when your users finally receive a version of your application, it will really work on their devices. Because we know that even if our application works on our device, that may not be the case in all of the devices. And in here I am showing you a few of the iPhone devices that are available, but of course for Android you're going to find a wide variety of devices from different OEMs with plenty of Android versions available. So this is going to be continuous quality, the ability for us to run the tests that we create and that we have probably already tested locally, but now on hundreds, even thousands of devices with hundreds of configurations in the cloud in a matter of minutes. And eventually, of course, having the reports of what failed, what succeeded, and what may have caused the failures. So, by the end of this section, you would have uploaded some tests over to App Center, see them run over there, see the results, and even use those results to improve your application, make sure that it runs on all of the devices that your users may have. So let's jump over to the next lecture, where we're going to be setting up our project precisely so we can start coding the tests that we will eventually upload to App Center.